And it just felt like this is how humans are supposed to be. Everything's great about Richmond except, wow, the radio really seriously sucks.
12.
What we are at WRIR, we're a low-power FM radio station. Well, that's something that didn't exist until about 20 years ago. In the late 1990s, 1996, just after the Republican Revolution in Congress, they passed what was called the Telecommunications Act that allowed, for the first time ever, large companies to own more than one radio station in a single market. And it didn't take long for a whole lot of companies owning a whole lot of radio stations to become just a very few companies owning all the radio stations.
Radio was not something that I was interested in. It's not something that I was listening to because it was horrible. it was a bad, commercial, programmed, corporate medium.
I drove a car with a dead radio because Richmond radio was so bad. And this is back before the internet, back before MP3 players.
And it was the founder of our radio station was one of the key people lobbying Congress to create a way for communities to get on the air.
It turns out that there were 1,000 other groups all over the United States, left-wing and right-wing, all over the ideological map, that sent in formal comments to the Federal Communications Commission saying we want the low-power radio service to be established because it would be great for whatever their mission is. And they were all correct, it would. But when Tim Kaine accepted our desire for a resolution at Richmond City Council, he was on the FCC's Municipal Advisory Committee. So he knew all the jargon, he had kept track of all the controversy going back and forth within the FCC. He was the perfect person for the job. The FCC met and they passed it.
By 2004 or so, the radio landscape in Richmond was pretty dead. And so a group got started up called Radio Free Richmond, which was an internet radio station. And in 2004, I mean, this was like, a lot of people didn't even have internet back then. The next time that the FCC had a bunch of frequencies available, Chris Maxwell's organization was able to snatch one up and claim it as a low-power FM radio station. And so I got called up and put to a meeting where there was a bunch of really, really smart people in the room who had zero wherewithal on how to get things done. We set a date to set up the antenna on the roof. We had like a dozen, maybe 20 people showing up, climbing up a rickety ladder onto this rickety roof, in December, no less.
Literally on the roof of this building, climbing up a weird ladder on the back, and hauling this thing up vertically into place.
All for the sake of getting this crazy little radio station on the air, just because that's how much people wanted to have another voice heard. And so we were actually able to get it up to the 80 feet or whatever, and we tied everything down and kind of stood back and watched. All right, this is gonna work. What I've done is just one of those 500 stories.
You're currently tuned into Happy House right here on WRIR, your local indie community radio station.
I have never DJed before. I've always just been a music enthusiast, and I always am searching out new music, and I honestly did not think that I was on the caliber of all the DJs here. The more I got to know everyone, the more I realized that everyone here is a music nerd in their own way. And it's the way that we all come together and provide an eclectic mix that makes WRIR what it is.
The one I do now, Friday Clock Out in the afternoons, a music show, I try to play music, if you imagine, if you're done with your work week and it's just like, I'm finished with this, ching. This is just what's coming out of my head, what I'm finding out. And I actually do, I hope when I play something that somebody's gonna go, oh my God, what is that? I need to find out more about this.
The radio station is the culmination of the combined efforts of 200 volunteers, all working, doing behind the scenes stuff. For that brief, for you to be able to be on the microphone in that moment, that is the result of the efforts of 200 people.
We don't run WRIR like most other nonprofits. So we're consensus-based. I'm the president, I'm no one's boss. We do things by group and make decisions together, so no one person, drives the boat in a sense. So we all work together to make it happen.
We do as much work as any other multi-million-dollar radio station, but we do it for free, and it still costs money. We're not getting paid. We're not selling advertisements.
The community supports us. We make our goal every year. We don't pay anybody, so we don't have that strain to keep salaries going. People here spend their time here because they love it and they want to do it.
It's been a really grounding force, for me as an individual, and I think for a lot of people within this community, and also, a helping force. I mean, the station not just throws things at people, but provides opportunities for people to learn about how to create things and how to do things and getting job experience.
I can be myself here more than I can in any other place. We create a platform for the community to be on.
You hear people's voices and they're part of where you're from, and it's different.
Sometimes you listen to WRIR and you know that these are your neighbors, these are your friends.
That are accepting of anyone and everyone. And I can bring people's voices out into the world and give them a chance to say the things that you need to say and tell their stories, because commercial radio just took that away.
You think radio's dead. People don't need it. They have Spotify, or they have their phone, or they're just picking songs out of the air. But it's not true, and it's a really good feeling, not from an old guy's point of view, but more from a yes, this message of music is getting through, this message of news.
Looking to find new listeners, and we enjoy that we are dedicated to the city of Richmond. City of Richmond is our home. We're also looking to expand that, and so we're looking for ways to creatively and frugally expand our broadcast reach.
It's ephemeral. It changes based on the volunteers that are volunteering here.
I would want it to keep looking like what it looks like, and if it looks different, because of who's involved or what the community is and what the needs are, then that's what it is. I think what's incredible about WRIR is that it has, been a completely organic entity.
I have no idea, but it's going to be good.
Through different ways we connect. That's the reason why I'm so happy our paths intersect. This trajectory of my career, it wouldn't be what it would be if it weren't for the people on 97.3. This is coming out on your new. Yeah.
Where else can you play fart sounds on the radio?
Quality programming.
Nobody else does fart sounds like Seinfeld.
I'm Bill Oglesby, an associate professor in VCU's Robertson School of Media and Culture and the instructor for the documentary class. Joining me tonight are Coleman Jennings, Hannah Parker, and Devin Eiffel, who produced the Radio for the Rest of Us documentary, which was very interesting. It kind of evoked Seinfeld a little bit, and with a surprise ending.
Yeah, thanks.
Coleman, let me start off by asking you, were there some things that you thought you would include or wanted to include that you ended up not being able to?
Absolutely. I feel, this is our longest form production ever, so Yeah, we had to cut a lot. And there were a lot of great stories that the interviewees gave us, and unfortunately, the stories were longer than the whole documentary. So yeah, we had to cut a lot, unfortunately. But we still feel like it was a good.
When you're working on something like that, you really have to be thinking about how much time is it going to take out of the full 10 minutes.
Exactly.
And it adds up quickly, doesn't it?
Yeah, definitely.
Okay. Hannah, let me ask you, how is creating this long form video different than some of the videos you've done in the past?
Well, I think I can speak for all of us when I say that we've only made short form videos by this point, about 1.5 to 2 minutes. So that alone is different because you have to fill the time a lot more. But with that, we got to tell a story, which with short form you don't get to do as much. You just state the facts and then leave. We got to delve into these people's lives, really tell the story of the radio station, get to know the community, and really show that and show the audience what this radio station is all about.
Was that a challenge when you were, I mean, you got kind of tight quarters there, don't you?
Yeah, I mean, like Cohen was saying, we had about, when we first made it, it was about an hour long, and we had to cut it down to 10 minutes. It's really hard. And then we had some filming difficulties. We had to film in a really small recording booth. So we did everything handheld, which was partly a creative choice and partly we had to.
Okay, all right. And Devin, were there any surprises that you encountered when you were making this?
Yes, so we originally had an entirely different documentary planned. I think we were in the second week of pre-production and we realized it wasn't going to work out. So on a whim, we messaged the WRIR station email. And it was like Sunday evening, and at like 9 o'clock we got an email back from Carol, the president, and she was so eager to work with us, and she CC'd all of the volunteers at the station, and they all just kind of trickled in after that.
Okay, so from that point on, did it go pretty smoothly?
Yeah, basically we would just go to different DJs' shows when they were recording a little bit earlier and interview them while they were there. So it all kind of worked out.
Okay, well, good. Well, I've been speaking with Robertson School students and documentary producers Coleman Jennings, Hannah Parker, and Devin Eiffel. Nice job, folks.
Thank you.
Thank you.